Welcome back to First Take. So the general consensus is that Indiana quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner, national champion Fernando Mendoza will be the #1 overall pick. The spot currently belongs to the Las Vegas Raiders, but our own Chris Canty thinks the Raiders should consider trading that pick to the Jets. Listen to this.
If we're being honest, more quarterbacks are ruined than made. Are the Raiders in a position where they can support a young franchise quarterback and not let him get the career knocked out of him? Do you feel that confident about that offensive line? Do you feel that confident about the infrastructure within the organization? I'm just putting it out there. At some point, it gets to be too good of an offer to pass up on. And I'm just pointing out the fact that if the Jets are insistent on getting a quarterback in this draft, they have all the ammunition they would ever need. They could offer a lot of first-round draft picks. And at some point, whether it's 3 first-rounders, 4 first-rounders, 5 first-rounders over the next 3 or 4 years, at some point, the Raiders have to say yes.
All right, Canty, 5 first-rounders. There might be something in his orange juice in the morning. That's a little aggressive. Nonetheless, Peter Schrager, Jason McCourty are here with us on First Take. Should the Jets trade up to go to that #1 overall pick? Oh, Stephen A., yes, hello.
No. I was just going to interject, Shay, before you asked the question, because I must say, as exceptional of a host as you are, I'm very, very disappointed at the analogy that you just used. That 5 picks is a bit much. You're talking to a Knicks fan. Yeah. Watch this team do that for Mikal Bridges. Thank you very much for reminding and not remembering the common denominator there. That hurts, Jay. That hurts.
Sorry. You're right. I should have remembered that. But why would we allow 2 New York teams to do such a travesty, such a thing?
I thought Stephen A. was interrupting to say how good I looked.
I thought he was too. I thought he was going to interrupt.
You know what? The suit, the double-breasted and stuff. You do look good, and I saw the shoes as well that you were rocking. I'm very pleased today, J Mac. At least you tried. Peter does too, though.
I feel good. I always wear a tie. Orlovsky yesterday coming here like a slop.
Right.
Disgusting. Can't even be seen next to that guy. I actually love this trade for the Jets.
Ooh.
I think Mendoza would be an incredible piece for the Jets to build around based on where their franchise has been and where they want to go. They have the 2, the 16, the 33, the 44, and the 103 in this draft, and they have 2 firsts next year. So you have draft picks to spend. I look at Mendoza, the skill, the talent, we know that. That's fine. Whether you love him and he's Andrew Luck or you think he's solid and he's Matt Ryan, let's put that aside. Demeanor, personality, there is nobody maybe more suited for what this team needs in this market. Fernando Mendoza is not going to Carbone or the 86 or the Cornerstone. Fernando Mendoza is fine going to Olive Garden and walking around Times Square and like saying hello to folks. He's not going to be about the glitz and the glamour. He's not going to get caught up in this. He is all about ball in and so confident in who he is that I think the parallels for what he did for Indiana football, and Shay, you know this very well, taking a program that was 105 years of downtrodden football and lifting them on his shoulders. Is there anyone better suited for the New York Jets? What feels like they've been 105 years of downtrodden football and now take them on the shoulders. I actually think when you have all these picks and you have a first-round guy and he has won at the highest level of college and has taken a team that has similar parallels to what the New York Jets are, I love it. I just don't think the Raiders are going to be willing to budge. I don't think they're going to want to depart for him.
Really quick, J-Mac, so what do you think it would take for them to move up? What would they have to give to the Raiders in order to swap
I don't
picks?
think the conversation starts with 2 first-round picks. I think the conversation starts with 3 first-round picks. And now we're talking, let's at least let's at least have the conversation. It's a 1 quarterback draft right now, and Simpson is kind of a waiver. I think Mendoza is that guy and is that leader, and the Jets could build around him and sell that to the fan base and say, hey, look what he did at Indiana. He's going to do exactly the same thing here. And Mendoza will be nonplussed. He will not flinch, and he'll just say, let's go play football.
I don't like it. And I'm almost surprised at you, too, in the sense of you love places like Carbone.
That's how I live.
My quarterback can go to Carbone as long as he's throwing for 3 touchdowns on Sunday. I don't care where the hell you go eat. But I'm looking at this, and you just said it, what you ended with, how bad the Raiders need and want a guy like Mendoza. I think to Canty's point, if you're Mendoza, would you rather maybe be with the New York Jets? Possibly. They have a better offensive line. If I'm the Raiders, I don't care about that part of it. For you, we need a quarterback. And I think because of the situation, it's going to cost the Jets so much. You said starting with 3 first-round draft picks. And I don't hear people mentioning Mendoza's name with those same thought processes of you just said an Andrew Luck, a guy that's going to completely change the franchise, not just make us good or make us relevant, but someone that you really feel is going to come out and be able to win you championship games, giving up all of that draft capital. If I'm the Jets, I'm looking at it. 5 first-round draft picks in the next 2 drafts. Yes, you can look at that to ante up and go for a Mendoza, but you also can be looking about the future. You have a chance right now to genuinely build through the draft. This is a defense that had 0 interceptions. Go out and at number 2, get you an impact player, whether it's the offense or defensive side of the ball, someone that can change the franchise with their play on the field and continue to build. With this many first-round draft picks, you can have a hell of a team. And the quarterback may be in free agency, maybe in next year's draft, the year after that, but they're not one quarterback away. So giving up all of those picks to get Mendoza and still potentially be in the same spot next year without the same amount of draft picks, to me, just doesn't make sense.
I know, but they don't have a quarterback. Like, the Raiders at least could maybe put Geno Smith in there and then build around him for a year to get where they want to go. But, like, the Jets have no one.
They're always the bridesmaid with these drafts. They had to wait for Trevor Lawrence, and then they get Zach Wilson. They had the number 3 pick when Baker went 1. They got Darnold, and we know what happens there. To me, you have all this capital. You don't do that and say, let's find interceptions. You do that and you say, let's find a quarterback. And if you think Mendoza's the guy, make a call.
Before SA goes, but the quarterback spot, we're getting ready to have quarterbacks being released, and there's going to be a market where there are some veteran quarterbacks that are going to be available. So on a team where you're just trying to get better talent around, you can have a bridge guy to be that quarterback.
Stephen A?
Well, first of all, I totally agree with J. Mack on this, Peter and Shay. That's number 1. Number 2, there are a multitude of reasons why. Number 1, obviously, if you're the New York Jets, what the hell do you have? You know what? You're straight garbage. You're hot garbage. That's the bottom line right there. You know what I'm saying? The Jets are equivalent of cheese and meat stuck in a suitcase. You understand? The 90-degree weather, the stench that emanates from that franchise is that damn bad. Is that damn bad that there's no reason that as much as they need a quarterback and as important as the quarterback position is, they have just shown a propensity throughout their history to be so anemic, so awful, such purgatory that you know what? There's no reason to have any faith. As a matter of fact, we should be thinking about Fernando Mendoza, who seems to be a good kid, a God-fearing kid, principled, disciplined, does all the right things. And we need to be asking ourselves, why should we even be having this discussion? Why should we subject him to that kind of imminent misery? Because that's what the hell we're looking at from the New York Jets. Let me remind people, and I hope Garrett Wilson is listening because evidently he was a bit sensitive a few months ago when I was talking about the Jets organization. He didn't realize I was trying to look out for him. I was trying to tell him, you need to get the hell up out of there while people will still remember that you're a damn football player, because the way the Jets are looking right now, we have no reason to believe. My man RC, Ryan Clark, comes on the air and raves about the man and the leader that Aaron Glenn is. Well, guess what? Let me tell you something right now. If you are that dude, I hope you end up losing that job so you could go someplace and it doesn't ruin your football career as a coach, because the stench of the Jets organization is that horrific that guess what? All bets are off. The hell with them getting a quarterback that's going to throw the ball to who? A quarterback that's going to hand the ball off to who? A quarterback that's going to be blocked by whom? You know, these are all the questions that you can ask. And where would I get that from? Well, allow me to count the ways. The New York Jets last season became the first team in NFL history to lose 5 consecutive games by 23 or more points at any point in this season. Point number 1, they've got the longest drought in the National Football League. They haven't been to the postseason since 2010. That's point number 2. They haven't won a division title in 24 years, since 2002 when Herm Edwards was called. You play to win the game. Evidently not when you're a New York Jet. That's point number 3. Point number 4, 10 consecutive losing seasons. 10 consecutive losing seasons. Point number 5, your coach in Aaron Glenn is your 6th coach since that time. This general manager, Muji, he's your 6th general manager since 2010. All right? You're talking about a team Only team with multiple top 5 drafted quarterbacks since 2018, and neither is still with the team, okay? And the reigning defending Super Bowl champion is somebody you drafted second or third overall. This is the same franchise that passed up on Dan Marino to pick Ken O'Brien. So their ineptitude, their misery, everything you want to call it has resonated since the 80s. There is nothing good about the New York Jets. The Jets are so bad when you're driving on the New Jersey Turnpike, you're wondering whether the stench is emanating from the swamps or from MetLife Stadium just because the Jets are there. That's how bad they have been. That's how awful they have been. You got an owner, Woody Johnson, that we would sit up there and say to ourselves, what the hell does he have to do with politics? Why is he over being an ambassador to the UK? And then you transition to us saying, why don't you go back to the UK? Because you're not welcomed here in New Jersey. Everything about the New York Jets are bad right now. Why would we wish that on Fernando Mendoza? At least he has Tom Brady to lean on. At least he has a 7-time champion that he can talk to anytime he wants to, that he'll have on speed dial, that'll be in his presence, tutoring and guiding and giving them counsel. And at least he'll be in Las Vegas because there's not a stench out there. And that's Sin City, where there's a whole bunch of sinning going on, and they still don't stink as much as the stench coming from MetLife Stadium whenever the Jets are in the vicinity. That's how bad they are. We shouldn't wish the Jets on anybody right now. Not Coach Glenn, not General Manager Muji, certainly not Garrett Wilson, not a plethora of players that they have there. I said a black cat is running around the Dallas Cowboys franchise. They've got nothing on the New York Jets. It's horrible. And oh, by the way, that black cat that we saw running around that franchise, that was at MetLife Stadium.
It was.
Even when the Cowboys were playing, it was at MetLife Stadium we saw the black cat. We didn't see it at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. We saw it at MetLife Stadium. No doubt, probably snuck out of the Jets locker room. That's how bad they are. Don't wish that on anybody.
Jets. Let's go, Jets. Let's go.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I tend to agree with you, Schrager, and then Stephen A. made quite the compelling argument against it, and I was like, oh, my goodness, I don't want this for my quarterback, for my Fernando Mendoza. I don't want this for him. But they do have an offensive line. At least they have an offensive line.
They're going to play that on the Jumbotron in MetLife Week 1. That was something. Wonderful.
I don't even know how to follow that.